Hello, my name is BT, and welcome back to the Talking Thunder podcast. I will be your host. Please be patient with me because I've been sick all this week, so my throat is feeling congested and I may sound a little bit different, but I'm going to make it through this podcast to deliver you some of the most recent OKC Thunder news and updates about any events that are going on currently. Today we're going to talk about two things: the end of the regular season and what to look forward to going into the postseason for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So let's begin with talking about the last three games of the seasons. The Oklahoma City Thunder ended up playing the Suns, the Jazz, and the Pelicans for their last three games. And for people who are unfamiliar with the NBA, towards the end of the season, their last 4 or 5 games, NBA teams, once they've secured their playoff spot or the spot they want in the playoffs, will utilize these last couple of games to warm up for the playoffs. So coaches will run schemes that they weren't, or that they're still trying to test out or create or build for these last couple of games. They'll run lineups that they haven't used that much through the season or have never used, and see what they look like and test them out on these teams. And they also will use this time to rest their star players to give them a break. And that's what Oklahoma City did during these last couple of games. So there's not really much to talk about these last couple of games. The Suns, the Jazz, and the Pelicans all have really, really low seedings. They're not very, very good teams this year. The Suns has the 11th seed in the West. The Jazz has the 14th seed in the West. No, the Jazz has the 15th seed in the West. And the Pelicans have the 14th seed in the West. And for those who don't know, there's only 15 teams in a conference. So, yeah, that means the Jazz has the worst record in the Western Conference. And the Pelicans has the second worst. And the Suns have the fourth worst. So they're not really competitive teams in comparison to the Thunder, who has the best record in the league. These games weren't really competitive, and people didn't expect them to be. But nevertheless, if you got a chance to watch them or go to these games, they're still historic for the fact that they're part of this amazing season that the Oklahoma City Thunder is displaying and have put up the season. Just so everybody also knows this too, the Oklahoma City Thunder were able to secure the best record in the NBA, meaning that they will have the home court advantage in every playoff series that they play in. Home court advantage is very important because I think the statistic is 77% of teams who play in a playoff series in the NBA, the team with the home court advantage wins. So let's hope that statistic definitely reigns true for the Oklahoma City Thunder going into the playoffs. But yeah, home court advantage is important, and the fact that they got it is amazing. So let's talk about some of the to recap those games really quickly, is that they were typical Oklahoma City Thunder games. They played great defense. They played very good offense, as expected, against these teams, because these teams are just not that good in comparison to Oklahoma City Thunder. No disrespect to these teams. They have some good players, some good stars. It's just this season is not their season. The Jazz, the Pelicans, the Suns all have their own merits. It's just not their season this season. So no one was ever expecting the Oklahoma City Thunder to struggle with these teams, and they did not. They executed their game plan very, very well, and the outcome was very expected. So there's nothing wrong there. And shout out to those teams. Hopefully next season they play better. And each of them should look forward to next season too, because after the draft and after the trade deadline, once it opens up, those teams definitely have opportunities to grow massively. And we will see what they develop into. Luckily for the Oklahoma City Thunder, though, today was the last game of the regular season, meaning that it was the 82nd game of the season, and every team, for the most part, played today. to end the season off. With that being said, we can finally talk about some of the records and achievements that the Oklahoma City Thunder accomplished. Some of the records include the most wins in franchise history. The Oklahoma City Thunder ended up having 68 wins, 14 losses. The previous record was 60 wins, 22 losses. The Oklahoma City Thunder also had the most double-digit wins in NBA history. They set the new record with 51 double-digit wins this season. Out of their 68 wins, 51 of them were double-digit wins. They also had the most wins against the opposing conference. So the NBA is separated by conference. There's the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. The Oklahoma City Thunder are in the Western Conference. So this season they had 30 games not at home against Eastern teams. So that means they played in their opposing team's home court. There were 30 of those games. Out of those 30 games, the Oklahoma City Thunder won 29 and only lost 1. Yeah, so that's a really, really big deal. Best record ever against the opposing conference. They also had their first number 1 top seed in the West since 2013. Yeah, it's been that long. Big deal, guys. This is a great season for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And lastly, they have the record-breaking point differential, meaning that on average, they beat their opponent by 12.9 points. Yes, that is the best point differential that any team has ever had in the history of the NBA. And the NBA has been around 78 seasons. So they're making history this season, guys. It's a very big deal what they're doing. Now moving into the playoff picture. Playoffs will happen next week. Actually, they will begin next week. Yeah, next Sunday or next Saturday. So before the playoffs officially starts, there is this small tournament called the play-in tournament. And the play-in tournament will determine who would get the 7th seed and the 8th seed. The reason why that is important is because there are favorable matchups for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it's important that, or for their best chances of winning, it's important that they get the team that they want. So the 7th seed and the 8th seed and the 9th seed and the 10th seed will battle it out to determine who will get the last 2 seeds for the playoffs. And those 4 teams are the Warriors, the Grizzlies, the Kings, and the Mavericks. I believe on Tuesday, the Warriors and the Grizzlies will play, and the Kings and the Mavericks will play. So depending on what happens, we can face any of those teams. And certain teams are better for us, and certain teams are worse for us. The best case scenario for the Oklahoma City Thunder is that they play the Dallas Mavericks, but that's unlikely that that's going to happen. So the Kings or the Grizzlies would be a favorable matchup for the Thunder. The worst matchup possible will be against the Golden State Warriors. For those who don't know, the Golden State Warriors have beat the OKC Thunder 3 out of 5 times this season. So they have a winning record against the Oklahoma City Thunder this season. Yes. Even though the Thunder are having this very historic season, even though they have the best record in the league, the Golden State Warriors, for some reason, plays the Thunder better than anybody else in the league. They are one of 2 teams that have a better record against us in our head-to-head matchups. So the Warriors with Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green will be a very, very tough outing for us for the playoffs. And hopefully we do not end up playing them. But who knows what can happen, because since the play-in is a one-game elimination tournament, anybody can win. The Warriors is definitely the best team within that tournament, but just like football, they say any given Sunday, meaning that at any point, or when it comes down to one game, even the worser team can play better than a better team because it's just one game. But with that being said, that's going to be it for this episode of the Talking Thunder podcast. I'm sorry once again, guys, for dropping this episode late. Catch us on Saturdays. Everybody be looking forward to next Saturday when the next episode comes out. We should be covering the playoff matchup that the Oklahoma City Thunder has. And maybe a little bit about the draft, potentially. Mm-hmm. But yes, we should be covering the playoffs, who the Thunder are playing in the first round, my breakdown about the first round, how that series should play out, and yeah, we can be very excited together about seeing the Thunder with this great team trying to do what no other Thunder team has ever done before and win the NBA championship. With that being said, I'm your host, BT. You can also catch me on the latest episode of The Jolt and expect another episode to come out next week. Also look forward to the podcast next week as well, next Saturday. And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.